Governor Branstad, when he returned to office, added some layers to felon voting rights for people who have completed their sentence and get out of jail after having committed felonies. I'm wondering how each of you feel about that process, having to complete a questionnaire and ensure that all of their fines and court costs are paid, which critics of that equate to a poll tax. Mr. Pate, you first. Is that a fair system to ask people who have completed their debt to society to still have to jump through those hoops to cast a vote?
Well, I've worked very closely with the governor's office under Governor Reynolds to try to streamline that process. We have it down to basically 12 questions these people have to fill out. And no, you do not have to have your fine paid and off. You do not have to all your restitution paid. You have to demonstrate you're making progress towards that. So we've done a lot to bring that around. We went through a lot of work to make sure that we have the most current lists, so those who have perhaps been a felon and had their rights restored aren't being penalized by going to a polling place and being told, no, you're still on our felon list. One thing we do in Iowa is we have provisional ballots. That's the safeguard so that everybody has a shot at voting on Election Day.
Ms. DeJear, how do you feel about
I believe if someone is exiting prison and it's our expectation that they come back and add value to their communities, that we shouldn't ask them to do that and also take away their right to vote. In addition to that, that process can be streamlined a lot more. Not only are there the questions, but there are the records that that individual has to provide, and many times it costs for that individual to get those records.
You know, in some states, couple states, Vermont I'm thinking of, Ms. DeJear, your voting rights aren't affected by your criminal record. Should we go to that?
You know, I think that's definitely something to look at, especially if you're coming out of prison and you're trying to do good, you're trying to add value, you're trying to provide for your family. I think it's important. Voting is not only a fundamental right, but that's a gateway to civic engagement. That's a gateway to adding value to your community.
Mr. Pate, why not just let all felons vote?
Well, I don't think that's what the intention was. When the legislature passed the various laws about criminal charges and that, they clearly said that we want you to complete your time in jail, and also you need to show restitution in some form or another. And parole is part of that. Let's not mistake that. Just because you're on a parole does not mean you're back as a citizen with all your rights. And what they're doing with felons, that are saying you need to take a few more steps. So I think what we're doing in Iowa is a fair way to do it. I would challenge others to help these people with their voter registration efforts if they want to do something.